Hey all, John here. In this video, we're going to talk about the type of gear I use for my photography and the expanding video business. So back in 2018, I bought a Panasonic Lumix G7 because it was recommended by a friend of mine because I was going on a trip overseas. So I bought that camera just to take it overseas to document my trip, took a whole bunch of photos and some video with it. And I really liked that. And when it came back, I eventually bought a whole bunch of accessories like more memory cards. I bought a non-TTL flash, one of those universal flashes, just so I could walk around my school at the time and take photos of classmates I had, and then eventually put those in the yearbook. That is how I learned my basics in photography. Before that, yes, I experimented with taking photos on my phone. I even shot music videos on the iPhone using Filmic Pro, pretty small projects, stuff like that. So I already had some fundamentals, but buying that Lumix was the first big step for me. After that, I switched to, I think, a D7200, a Canon 80D, the EOS RP. Then eventually when I jumped over to Sony, I started with the A7R III, and now I'm on the A7 IV. So the A7 IV is the main body. That's what's recording this video right now, as a matter of fact. But I'm just going to show you all the gear that I've amassed over the years and hopefully help someone. But yeah, let's go from there. So the first thing we're going to start with is my charging table. So whenever I come home from a wedding, I dump everything on this table just so it can charge. And I will show you what that looks like. All right, so welcome to my charging table. So this is what my desk typically looks like. There's not too much stuff going on. We're going to start with lenses since I think that will be the most interesting. So at the weddings I do attend, people most likely will catch me using this lens right here. This is the Sigma 24-70 2.8. This has super fast autofocus. It's a zoom lens, so you can easily go from 24 for, let's say, shooting a family portrait, to 70 mil for something a bit more intimate. So it's really fast, super quiet. People have compared this to the G Master. I think I paid about $1,200 for this lens. Best lens I have bought for the Sony ecosystem. So I'll put that back. The newest lens I have as of right now is the Samyang or Rokinon, depending on where you are in the world, the 35 1.4. This lens I have tried. It's really good for photos, but has loud autofocus. I mean, loud for on camera mic, but it's pretty quiet from a distance. Really fast autofocus, but again, it's a bit too loud for my taste. So I just use this for mostly photo use and video use if I'm gonna have a dedicated mic that's off camera. So there's that. My second favorite lens, the Sony 85mm 1.8, super fast autofocus. Honestly, it's extremely reliable. I can use this for video, but I don't typically use it that often. But for photos, it gives that really nice creamy bokeh that most people would want. The 1.4 is out, but I don't really need the 1.4, and the 1.8 I think is faster anyways for only $600. So there's that. And then my two creative lenses. So I got this one as a gift. It's basically a 50mm 1.4 manual focus only. I almost never use this lens, but when I do, it's pretty fun. And then I have basically it's a Pentax PK mount to Sony E, so there's that. And then my second creative lens, this is a 135 2.8. Also, I almost never use this lens, but it is pretty nice. And back when I had the RF mount, still has that mount on there. Basically PK to RF. So I'm gonna move all those over. I used to own a Atomos until recently. I had that for about a week and then returned it. So of course I have a whole bunch of drives. These two drives used to be in my workstation, but since I have everything stored on the NAS nowadays, I don't need them in there. So there's that. Basically the Atomos Ninja 5 is an external recorder and monitor, but recording in ProRes, I had one shoot take up 700 gigs of space, and I said, you know what, I'm not going to upgrade my NAS to, like, let's say 100 or 200 terabytes of space just so I can edit ProRes, because the internal XAVCS, I think XAVC HS codec, seems to be just as good. Yeah, it's harder on a computer to edit, but I have a decent GPU in there, so it's not too bad. I'll probably be making a video on transcoding footage if you have problems editing like HEVC video on your system. So stay tuned for that. And then this is just another random SSD I have that's sitting around. Still great, but small storage. So those just sit now. As far as like presenting work or if I need to carry portable storage, I think this is a T5 or T7. I have had this for a while. I originally had this in my Model 3, but since I do not do much, I don't need much Sentry mode features, and I have a smaller drive in there now. This is just a 1 TB drive. I just use this to store client work, or if I have a project I need to deliver to someone else. Without using my NAS, I just bring this around, so that stays in my bag. Something that is invaluable for weddings, honestly, is the V860 flash. Honestly, these I think retail for about 200 bucks, but if you go on eBay, you can get basically a brand new one with the box and everything for about, what is it, 150 or so. So basically with your typical TTL flash, you have 4 AA batteries in there, and those will die within maybe half day of a wedding shoot, and then you have to go through these batteries pretty often. So the difference that makes the V860 so much better is the fact that you have a lithium ion battery. So basically you charge this guy, and this will last me like 3 or 4 weddings back to back, and that's at full power. Of course, you're not shooting a wedding at full power, but it goes. Like, recharge time is not that bad. If I do one at full power, you're almost never going to use it at full power, but it still charges pretty fast compared to 4 AA's. You know how long those take to recharge. And it's TTL, so they have one for Sony, I think Nikon, Canon, even Fuji has a version. This is basically just a Godox flash, and on top of that, you can turn this into a commander for, let's say you have 8200s. You can basically, or 8400, you get the idea. Basically, all the external flashes from Godox can be controlled with this. So at one point, I was at a studio shoot, and I just put this on top of my camera because I didn't have my Godox transmitter yet, and use that to control the other lights that are available in the studio. So this, honestly, if you're not buying lenses or memory cards, get this. For memory cards, I just use the SanDisk Extreme Pro cards. I just buy 64 gig cards. That works. The one lens I left out is the Samyang 24mm T1.9 lens. I recently got that as well. Basically, the VAF lenses are designed for your gimbal work. They're all lightweight. I think there's a 24, 35, 45 mil, 75, and I think there's a 100 mil coming out. They're all T19, which is basically an f1.8 lens. They have fast autofocus, but IAF, for some reason, it's getting better, but IAF wasn't as reliable when I first got it, but it seems to be doing pretty well. As far as audio goes, I usually use, I think this is a VideoMic Pro. I got this about 1.5 years ago. Decent mic. The only downside is that if you forget to turn this off, you're done. If I can even remember how to open this, basically you have one of these batteries in here. And there goes the case, the cover. Alright, so that's on there. Standard sound of dead cat, so basically if there's wind outside you would want, it basically looks like a furry windscreen, and so you would put that on there if you're doing anything outdoors. I just use this indoors. It works pretty well. And you have all your controls in the back, just to make sure you don't forget to turn it off. That's the only downside with this mic. I also have Rode's VideoMic microphones, so those are really convenient to charge right here. So basically you have one receiver that goes on top of the camera, which is what I'm using right now. And then you have 2 of these transmitters, so you can put this on 2 different people. You can go, there's a limit to distance, but I haven't really tested that yet, because if, let's say, I'm doing a small video shoot, they're usually close to me anyways, and they come with these dead cats. So basically you can either just mount these on the people and have it on the shirt, or you can even connect an external lavalier mic. Let's see, get this off, right there. And basically have this in their pocket and a mic on their shoulder, so it's a little bit smaller. And the big benefit on these is the fact they have, I think, 8 or 16 gigs of storage. So let's say if the wireless transmission goes bad, they all have onboard storage, so you can always go back. The new Pro versions just came out of these, and they have time code. So if you want to have it easier syncing in post, there's that. But these VideoMic Go 2s are really good. I think they're about 300 bucks for the 2-pack system with the 1 transmitter. I don't remember. I got this last year as well. But so far so good. I'm running it right now. This is just a second transmitter. I have a wireless charger here for AirPods and other phones or whatever. All right, so the next thing that I really value is this battery charger. So this is what I keep in my camera bag. It has a USB-C input, micro USB, and USB-A output because you can use this as a power bank. Clearly, it has even SD card storage, but honestly, I don't use that because it's kind of sketchy to get into. But it is there. So yeah, I basically never use this card because it doesn't do the 4K high codec, the HS codec on my A7 IV, so it just sits there. But basically, compared to, let's say, something like this isn't going to sit well in your bag. So I basically have this plugged into the hub at all times. So I'm just going to plug this guy back in. There's that. And this easily can go in my camera bag. Like, it just sits in there just like that. I basically never use this as a power bank, but worst case, my phone is dead in the airport or something, I can just use this and it works. Really efficient. Something that is also new in my lineup are these Godox lights. So I have 2 of these now. These seem to be really good. I haven't shot any lights for probably like a year and a half. I used to be that guy that would carry an 8200 on a C-stand and have a 37-inch softbox. I loved doing that until I had 4 of those 8200s break, and I just gave up on lights and swore them off. But now that I'm doing some video work, I have to relearn all the lighting techniques. But these SL100s are really good. They are not battery powered. You have to plug them in the wall, but they can connect to your smartphone, and there's even a wireless remote where you can basically wirelessly control these light levels. These are just I think 5600K. They're not the bi-color model that can do, I think, tungsten lighting and 5600 daylight. So, but really good lights. They're quiet. I have one running behind me, just running one right now, but I have 2 of these. Put this like this. All right, so my camera gimbal. So a couple weeks ago, I made a video about the RS3 Mini. I returned that because I was having a lot of issues with the arms. So I don't recommend that gimbal. It works if you're just running primes, but there was a point at a shoot where it was just struggling to carry my 24-70. That's when I gave up on it, and as well as something as simple as, let's say, adjusting this arm. It was really a pain to get it adjusted. So return that. And now I am on the regular RS3. I considered the Pro, but I don't have anything too heavy. I actually bought this arm right here for the Atomos, but the Atomos is just so heavy with the battery grip, with the batteries, the NP batteries that are on the back. So I just usually run my S23 Ultra in this, and I have the Monitor Plus app. So that will allow me to either wirelessly use my phone as a monitor or with a USB-C cable that works as well. I've had no issues with this. It works really well. The only downside, I think, is the fact you have to activate it on your phone, and I had to pull out an old phone just to get it activated, but it works really well. It's going to start glitching out now because there's no camera on there, but you have the self-locking axes, so those are really cool. Of course, it's not going to lock now because I don't have a camera on it, but you get the idea. Let's see, let me get this axis locked. I have forgotten how to unlock them manually, but yeah. So that's that, and of course, since this is the RS3, I technically don't have to take this tripod off, the tripod feet, but you can do that. So you can buy, let's say, 2 or 3 of these, and just have not unlimited battery life, but you get the idea. So the same way you run on your A7 IV, you switch batteries out, you can do that on this, but this battery, in my experience, has just lasted forever. I've gone through 2 or 3 shoots, and it'll still be at 75%, just fine. Mark that back up. Let's see. There we go. Cool, and it's locked on there just like that. No problems there. This grip is really interesting though. There we go. All right, we're gonna put this foot back on here. Because I bought the RS3 combo, I think I also have a focus motor, if I remember where that is. All right, so I have a focus motor with this. I honestly basically never use this. I just haven't seen the need because I'm just doing some small projects right now. But I am thinking of running this focus motor with that 50 mil lens that I showed you guys earlier, if it focuses. This thing has really sticky focus. It likes to lock on one thing and not change. But you get the idea. So this is just a focus motor. You can put this on any lens. It connects via USB-C. Another thing on the RS3 that I really like is the fact that there is a Bluetooth mode. So on the RS-C2 I had before I left it on an airplane overseas, you had to connect a USB-C cable from the gimbal into your camera just to use the record button on the gimbal. But now this can connect to your camera wirelessly over Bluetooth. So you just press the record button and no cable's connected and your camera will start recording. And you can do that while you have, let's say, an HDMI monitor or even a phone connected. So it all works together. So there's that. And now I'm going to show you my bag. All right, here's my wedding backpack. So this is a Lura Pro bag. I forget the exact model. I bought this during COVID when I was basically starting my first weddings. There's plenty of pockets on this guy. Main thing that I really like is the fact that I have a laptop pouch. You can put a 15-inch laptop in here with no problem. There goes the lens. And you have space for a tablet right there. So of course I have some stuff in there. But yeah, plenty of pockets. So I think the main thing for me is that I like to be prepared for any situation. So in this pocket, I have cables. So I have an HDMI, because you never know when you need that. I have a USB-C to HDMI, because you never know when you need that. Let's say you want to connect your phone or your laptop to a projector or something, or you never know. I have a USB-C to DisplayPort, if that focuses. USB-C to DisplayPort. I have a SATA to USB 3 because the Atomos, you never know when you want to connect or upload footage on site to preview it. I have an extra 9-volt battery for the VideoMic Pro. I have a USB-A to USB 3 cable. It's USB 3 because of the blue connector in there. This is for, let's say, tethering. So if you're at a studio session, clients will most likely want to see the photo as you're taking them on the camera. So I use that with Capture One. For, let's say, if I have an older PC with me that doesn't have USB-C, I will use this. And I have some miscellaneous cables. This is from the RS-C2. These are basically USB-C to micro, or even I think mini USB. Yep, I don't use these, these are just here. So that's my cables that I keep because you never know, emergencies. And of course, the central space where everything goes. So I usually keep batteries and stuff like that in here. So I have a red case I use. You'll probably see that later. I stuff that here. Battery case will go here. I have a USB 2, USB-C to C cable. This is what I connect my S23 Ultra to my camera with. So that works long enough, doesn't interfere with the gimbal. And I usually keep A7 IV 24-70 right here, 85, 35, and then you can hide the little 50 back there. So that works really well. I think this bag was like 150, 200 bucks when I got it. It's lasted me this long, so I'm more than happy. Got a few extra cables, power delivery, 100 watt USB-C to C. Another HDMI, because I used to have the Atomos until I got rid of it because of the stutter. Basically my 100 subs video was the breaking point for me because I was getting some dropped frames from the Atomos and I didn't like carrying the weight. I have more space, more assembly instructions that I need to go through. I have a grip for the A7 IV that detaches, so there's that. You can tell this bag is being used. More pockets. This is from the RS-C2. Long time no see. It's easy to forget stuff you have in this bag. We got another pocket. Got some more stuff in here. Miscellaneous bags. Tripod foot. More tripod stuff. I have a Sirui video tripod that I have. And then we got just some more miscellaneous accessories, batteries, stuff like that. I basically have everything I would ever need in this bag. That is small, of course. And we have some more pockets on the side. I usually just keep sanitizer in there because you never know. And that is the main case, basically where we were just at. So that is my camera bag. I'll probably attach the model of it. And then of course on the bottom, before I forget, there is a, what is this, a poncho or something like that? Straight from them, just so it's weatherproof. So that hides. I basically always forget it's there because I don't really walk in the rain, but there's my camera bag. I also have the mini version of this. If I don't want to carry this bag, this does get pretty heavy with equipment. So I have a little sling I use. Probably put some B-roll in there about that. And yeah, there's my camera bag. Now, we are going to jump. All right. So now we have this. This is the RS3 combo case that I don't use to carry the gimbal. I just keep random stuff in here. So I have some Swiss I think Arca Swiss tripod feet. One of these is for the Sirui, the video tripod that I have. And another one is from an old gimbal that I was using on a shoot, and I think another photographer is borrowing from me right now. We have an RS3 manual. I have a USB 3 C2C. This is for the T7 SSD drive that I have. So that just hides there. I usually keep all the solid state up here. Here is another storage case that I use where I have a lens cap, more USB A to C adapters. You can never have enough of those in your bag. I have the Apple, one of the remaining Apple products that is overpriced, the Apple USB-C to full SD. I think it's SDXC. It's a really fast card reader. I used to have the Satechi multi-function hub, but I use that at home now, so I don't keep that around. And then I have two other USB A to USB-C adapters. Another one, so we have three of them in the same pouch. And this guy, honestly, I don't know why I have this. This got bundled with some Amazon package for camera gear I bought years ago. I don't use it. This is more of a timer remote shutter. I think this is more of a Canon system. I don't use this. It just sits. I have some IEMs, so if I'm recording audio, I need to monitor it. I use these. These are like 20 bucks. They work really well though. All right, so we have some microfibers. Those are sitting. This literally just sits. I need to reorganize this. All right, so this is basically the miscellaneous video bag that I carry to my shoots now. I don't have much going on in here. Other than that, it's basically just a whole bunch of different light stands for now the video work that I'm working on. We have a C-stand that I talked about, light modifiers, stuff like that. And of course the NAS and the other miscellaneous computer stuff we're not talking about because I've reviewed them a little bit in previous videos. I have some GPUs sitting up there that I use for video encoding that are not being used. And yeah, that should be it for this video. Just let me know if you guys have any ideas for more content. I'm just trying to make videos about everything that I can, just to see what hits the market, what doesn't, and we'll go from there. Stay tuned for the next video.